You might as well know me as Mikey if you were very active in Akatsu's community, around 2020 to 2021-ish. I was 14 while working as a thumbnail artist for Akatsu, ranging from their how-to bomber video and their previous livestream thumbnails. Since then, Akatsu has faced several grooming and pedophilia allegations that have been declared false. As their victim, I can confidently say now that those were in fact true and I lied to protect them. I apologize for my actions in the past and if I made anything a lot more confusing, but I've decided now would be the best time to speak up after receiving help from someone. There's a lot of people who haven't heard of what Akatsu has done, and most of these screenshots will stem from my personal DMs with them. I will warn that most of these have sensitive and triggering topics in them, so I advise that you prepare yourself or that you are in a better mental space if you'd like to see them. When they were first called out, I stated that these allegations were anything but true because of the fear and the grooming tactics that were used on me. I had no contact with the people who set up these allegations, so everything was shocking to both me and Akatsu at the time. In fact, I was woken up with their crying and immediately was manipulated, and I felt guilty for something I played no part in. I was impressionable and lonely, which Akatsu took advantage of. Over time, they isolated me further, stripping me away from my friend groups, which made me feel as if they were all I had. I would defend their actions in hopes I wouldn't be abandoned by them. This meant that the conditions they put me in only worsened. It is true that Akatsu had sexual roleplays and voice calls with me multiple times, one consisting of actions that would mostly be censored here. It was something a 14-year-old and an adult should not have done at the time. They had almost begged me to hear me or listen to my noises, which made me extremely uncomfortable. After being called out, these calls and roleplays only became more graphic, consisting of things that would be listed in the video. Throughout this time, we formed a relationship, and despite both of us denying it was an actual relationship, we did refer and see each other as significant others and would talk about our future as a family together, which would be moving in and a lot of other things that a family would do. Often, Akka would use this against me. Because I was their closest friend, it meant that my full attention in life would be dedicated to them. They would demand my full attention by harming themselves or threatening their life just to get a video call with me. Due to our time zone difference, I had to multitask in the middle of these calls, and they would often do this during class times and times where I was supposed to be grounded, which would often hinder my schoolwork and overall life. Whenever they got mad or had a breakdown, they would completely disconnect and harm themselves at times in order to draw my attention completely back, especially after a fight or something that would significantly bother them. It was hard to win against them whenever they needed any help, so I politely came to them whenever this occurred. And they would ask for a lot of things that made me uncomfortable. It is also true that Akka and I exchanged pictures, and I talked about more than just sexual education. Me being the one who would send pictures of myself the most. Often we'd talk about means of pleasuring ourselves and deviant fantasies. They would speak about their fantasies with animals, me, and other things of the sort, feeling as if it wasn't enough to make them pleased, and desiring more than just that. Akatsu also had a history of being ableist and racist, trying to feed ideas of me about the stereotypical Twitter user and making remarks about my race. Often, they would defend their use of the R slur, and there are very recent pictures of them using the R slur. I'm Mexican, and because of the common stereotype that we have several cousins, Akatsu would often push this onto me and make it into a fantasy where I had several children, joke or not. They wanted to make a family with me and would say this frequently whenever we have those video calls. There were multiple times where they would call me mommy or specific pet names that would be similar. They've had multiple victims before, ranging from me, strangers, friends of mine, and theirs, and my own girlfriend. Certain situations where they've harmed my girlfriend have ranged from causing her to spiral into panic attacks with suicide letters or complimenting them on how sexy they are. My girlfriend was around 16 or 17 when Akatsu made those sexual remarks about them. One moment they said a Discord link to my girlfriend meant for me, which consisted of a suicide note and forced me to completely break down for the day. Now I've separated myself from them and I'm in a safer place. From what I know, they are constantly avoiding change and do not wish to listen to reprimands in order to make me feel more comfortable. They do not deserve a platform. They are selfish and cruel.